Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 428 Shibuya Scramble. I'm here with
Thank
Yoshi,
you. Hey, folks.
and yeah, this is part. I think it's 16. I always forget to check beforehand.
It is definitely somewhere in that neighborhood.
Do you remember what happened last time?
Um, Tanaka is bad. At least very much seems that way. He is bad. He's involved in the kidnapping, and he's not a good dude. Um, I don't remember too much else. We took off the cat suit, and then we put the cat suit back on because it caused people to die.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
Maria's new. She's the new kid on the block. We had her the whole time. She was the cat. I don't remember too much else. I think. Oh, we were at an arcade with
Oh yeah. I think that's.
uh
She went to
yeah
go shopping,
Yanagisha.
and we saw Sonic.
Yeah, we did. We did see Sonic. That was really cool. And he was like, "We should get married," and she was like, "I would never marry you. You're a loser."
um, yeah, Osawa just basically lets Tanaka go. Pretty honey. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's talking to Pretty Honey. Actually kind of like she's a troll, but like they were kind of just kind they were had a nice little back and forth. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Pretty Honey. I'm sorry I snapped at you." She's like, "It's okay." And I was being kind of a bee. She was like, she put a listening device on Tanaka and stuff, but that was probably for the best because he's evil.
It's true,
So
but we took it off and let him go.
yeah. So stuff's really starting to get hot and heavy.
All right, so
The poop has really hit the fan, as they say.
let me check these bad ends. For this one, Kano said said the wrong thing. So we have an idea on how to fix that. For this, a young man mistook Maria for Hitomi. So we have a good idea on how to fix these. So where would you like to go first?
So we just can go wherever.
We can, although Osawa and Maria are blocked, so we have Minorikawa,
Okay,
Kano, and Achi.
let's check in with Minorikawa because I don't think we've seen him in a week or two.
All right.
No.
Where's the summary button? There we go. Just a refresher. He arrives at the sales demo 10 minutes behind schedule, but the demo is half an hour late. The event erupts into chaos after the presenter, Tama, and his staff make some verbal missteps. Uh, Basically, his computer has stopped functioning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was the cliffhanger. Minorikawa's cry of despair echoed throughout the cafe. His laptop monitor stared back at him, black and empty.
Don't you die on me, buddy.
He jabbed his finger sharply at the screen. But the computer gave no response, looking well and truly dead.
What the hell?
Minorikawa pounded his fist on the table. This would be a worst-case scenario, even if he weren't desperately pressed for time.
Guess I'll just have to write by hand then.
He rummaged around inside his bag and pulled out a notebook.
Still do this.
he shouted, doing his best to psych himself up for the task ahead.
Psyche himself up for the task ahead.
Psych.
I will still do this.
I think this is me. Here, let me look. I'm pretty sure this is me. Did I ever not write it down? The waitress isn't under any of our names. I'm assuming it's me.
Yeah, I think it's you.
Excuse me, sir? The waitress appeared timidly beside him.
What?
Minorikawa snapped, his pen still flying across the paper. Sir, if you could please quiet down.
My damn computer just broke. I'm allowed a scream or two.
Minorikawa was in no state of mind to be quiet. If it weren't for the deadline he was racing to meet, he'd probably have gone on screaming until he passed out. Your computer is broken, you say? The waitress peered at the monitor.
Yeah, look. That's not plugged in. Right. It just suddenly just stop displaying anything.
Could it be that, the battery is just dead?
Minorikawa sat bolt upright.
That's it.
The waitress flinched as Minorikawa's finger jabbed toward her face.
I hadn't considered that possibility. Hey, let me plug in somewhere.
There's an outlet right there, sir.
She pointed at an outlet by Minorikawa's feet, making no attempt to hide her exasperation. Nailed it.
Ooh, show the feet. Show the feet.
Minorikawa plugged in the power cable, and the monitor sprang to life as normal.
So, now that that's sorted, would you please be quiet, sir?
Don't talk to me. You're interfering with my writing.
Minorikawa's fingers had already begun dancing across his keyboard. With a sigh, the waitress disappeared back into the kitchen.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Look at those fingers fly. His fingers picked up speed as he went about touch typing. Touch typing is the act of typing at a keyboard without looking at the keys. The aspiration.
Also known as typing.
This was one of this is like 15 years ago or something. Was typing without looking at the keys? No, the computers have been around for like 20 years at that point, at least. People know how to type.
Yeah, when I learned how to type in the year 2000, I believe it was, they definitely were like, yo, you can't look at the keyboard. That's scrub life. You gotta like feel where the F and the J are, and like, yeah.
Do you think in a few years that ability will be less common as like swiping your words on the keyboard becomes more and more prevalent?
I don't think swiping will ever like really supplant typing, because like people type fast. Like I don't even type that fast, but I type like almost 100 words per minute. I imagine people who type really fast type like 150. You know, can you swipe 150 words per minute? I wouldn't think so. Maybe I wouldn't think so though.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The pros and cons of
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
the pros and cons of surveillance cameras. Proprietor of outdated electronic shops oversees high-tech camera system. Bedlam at bogus weight loss drink sales demo. Bankrupted organizer remains undiscouraged.
Now Minorikawa's spirits were riding high. His writing rolled along at a brisk pace.
Sir?
It was the waitress again, her voice yanking Minorikawa right out of his soaring mood.
Sir!
Now what? Has the President of the United States agreed to give me a one-on-one interview?
The waitress's eyes went wide with confusion. Huh?
Because unless it's something that important, do not speak to me right now.
But she was undeterred.
Sir, please, if you could just be a little quieter.
Minorikawa's fingers ceased their rattling across the keys.
That's what sound you have a problem with. All I've been doing is writing a copy.
Well, for the last while, actually, you've been talking while you write, sir.
Talking?
Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion.
Yes, sir. You've been talking about an electronics store and some bogus weight loss drink. I assume that's what you're writing about?
You're saying I've been narrating my copy aloud while writing it?
That's right, sir.
Other customers sitting nearby were openly snickering.
Well, so what?
He snapped. He was red in the face now.
You should all be delighted that you get to hear what I'm writing before the magazine goes to print.
Well, actually, sir, one of our customers has been complaining.
Oh, it's this freaking guy. Complaining? Of all the nerve. Who was it? Where are they?
Which one?
It's Dad. It's our father-in-law. Right?
Minorikawa scanned the other patrons, many of whom were unsuccessfully trying to hide their laughter.
It was me.
It was the grumpy older fellow who had been making a scene earlier.
Bogus diet fads, peeping security cameras, reminds me of that sleazy tabloid 4-star general gossip I hate so much. Oh ho, you sure seem to know pardon me. You sure seem to know a lot about it for something you hate so much.
The man's face twisted up with scorn.
Your behavior is bothering everyone in here.
He said.
Do you not understand that? No, I don't. Yes, a reporter who writes nothing but nonsense prefers nonsense in everything he does.
Minorikawa could feel his blood boiling.
What was that? Go on, say that again. Oh, gladly. Nonsense, filth, codswallop, flim-flam. You bastard! How dare you!
Minorikawa stormed over to the man's table.
Flim-flam indeed.
You don't know what flim-flam is. It is bogus or insincere content. Few things anger Minorikawa more than reporters using dishonest means to create a story. Having his own work called flim-flam would naturally make him blow his top.
Who are you calling flim-flam?
Look at that guy who's like fallen over.
Yeah, that guy. That guy.
The other man stood up and glowered in Minorikawa's face.
You utterly lack any manners or sense of decency for starters. I have plenty of manners and decency. I also happen to have a deadline. Bah. As if a flim-flam artist like you has a work ethic. Stop calling me flim-flam.
The waitress inserted herself between the two men.
Ooh.
Gentlemen, please, stop fighting.
I demand that you remove this man at once.
The older fellow barked.
He's the one you should be kicking out.
Minorikawa shot back. By now, he was ready to go for this guy's throat.
Please,
The waitress pleaded.
both of you, return to your seats.
She grabbed onto Minorikawa and began to forcibly drag him back to his table. Oop.
Let's punch this guy. Oh, it's too late for that.
Giving in to his anger, Minorikawa threw a punch at the troublemaker.
Bruh. Alright, maybe that's Minorikawa.
It's probably Minorikawa.
Bruh.
The man dodged nimbly, however. I forgot how I
Oh no. Pops can fight? Huh, you're not bad. I'm 6 Dan in judo. Ah, you should have mentioned that earlier.
Minorikawa hastily retreated to his seat. The other man snorted and sat down with a scowl.
Well, that went pretty well.
Yeah. Considering that when we punched that girl, he got relentlessly beat. Um, the needless interruption, just when he'd finally gotten into writing mode, had all but killed Minotikawa's motivation. He decided he needed to take a breather. He turned to the waitress.
One spaghetti Napolitan, please. He's really going off the rails. He can't be eating spaghetti right now.
Have you had spaghetti Napolitan?
No.
It's a spaghetti flavored with tomato ketchup. The Napolitan is a corruption of Neapolitan, though the dish itself has no connection to the Italian city of Naples or Napoli. Rather, it originated as a menu item at a hotel in Yokohama shortly after World War II. There's also a spaghetti dish from Nagoya called Milanese, which likewise has no connection to the Italian city of Milan. So I guess this is like a Japanese Western thing.
I mean, I assume you've had it, right?
Yeah, I've had it. I imagine they'll show like a shot of it soon. He might not have a lot of spare time, but working on an empty stomach wouldn't do him any favors. While waiting for his order to come out, he decided to read back over the copy he'd written so far.
What?
When he looked back at the monitor, the screen was black yet again. Looking down at his feet, he saw that the power cable was now unplugged.
Is this really necessary? This is power cable stuff. Hey, what kind of cafe are you people running here?
He shouted. The waitress hurried over, looking combative. Sir, you yanked that out yourself when you stood up earlier.
What? A likely story.
It's the truth, sir. Minorikawa pointed to one of the customers sitting next to him.
Is she telling the truth? Did I really yank my power cord out myself?
The man nodded sheepishly.
Yeah, well, that's the outlet's fault for being somewhere where it unplugs so easily.
Minorikawa squawked. This poor guy. This poor waitress. The waitress marched away, head held
What are those
high.
two guys doing over there, though? What's that about?
I think that's because Minorikawa yelled at that guy, and he just recovered from being knocked over.
Oh.
I think that's the same guy. This is the same shirt, right?
I guess, yeah. Just make sure that spaghetti's delicious.
Minorikawa shouted after her.
Do that and I'll consider us even. Oh, and load it with cheese. Lots of cheese.
He plugged the power cable back in, then let out a heavy sigh. In all his writing fervor, he hadn't thought to save his work.
Oh, dear.
Always make sure to save your work, kids. Honestly, why is it that your computer only seems to freeze when you've forgotten to save your stuff?
This tip didn't really age well. Right? Everything just
Yeah, everything
now.
auto-saves. He was probably going to have to rewrite most of what he'd done. Oh, this is Dad's
Money?
daughter, Kano's girlfriend.
Oh, the actor.
I think that's
Is that
you.
me?
I think that's you.
Okay. Do you have any notes?
I'm looking right now. I do not.
Okay. Well, she's sexy, right? She's a model or whatever.
Yeah.
So I imagine she sounds really sexy. So something like, excuse me.
Ooh. Minorikawa looked up to see a young woman standing there.
I'm so sorry.
She said, I just noticed that these dudes are happy again.
Yeah, they were having fun in the last frame too. About my father.
She gave a tiny bow.
Your father? Oh, the rude old man? He's just a little bit worked up right now. Please don't pay him any mind. So what? You waiting on your boyfriend? Huh?
The woman was taken aback.
I happened to hear you two arguing earlier. Would have been about 2 hours ago? Oh, I see.
An awkward, embarrassed smile came to the woman's face.
I thought he was gonna ask my father for permission to marry me, so we've been waiting for him, but...
You know your sexy woman voice is turning into Yanagishita's voice, I think. It's pretty funny.
No, Yanagishita would be more like, I thought he was gonna ask my father for permission to marry me. Well, he's pretty sexy too, though.
Yeah, that's true. I was just pointing it out.
Buddy. Okay, I'll do my best to not let them to converge. But he hasn't shown up. No, he must be really busy.
She cast her eyes down sadly. Minorikawa took a better look at her. She was gorgeous. A woman with her looks wasn't something he saw every day, that was for sure.
Say, would you mind talking with me for a bit?
He asked.
Me? Yeah. I kind of need to turn my mood around here. Well, okay, at least until my father gets back.
The woman cast an anxious look toward the restrooms. How many times is this dad going to go to the restroom?
He's old, you know? He could have an enlarged prostate or something. What's your name?
I guess I've also been at this cafe for 4 hours now.
Yeah. Rumi.
She sat down across from him.
Wait a second. Aren't you
Minorikawa peered at Rumi's face.
one of those twins that was chosen as Miss Midoriyama?
Rumi shook her head.
No, not me. Nope. Darn. Didn't think I'd be that lucky.
He took a sip of his now cold coffee.
I do know the girls you're talking about, though.
Rumi said. Minorikawa spat out his coffee in surprise. Rumi squeaked in alarm as the spray splattered her face. But Minorikawa leaned in, unconcerned.
You mean it? You really know them? Yes.
Rumi replied.
You're talking about the Osawa twins, right?
She got out a handkerchief and wiped the coffee from her face as she spoke.
Osawa, huh?
Minorikawa glanced down at the project proposal on the table. Section squared. Twins shared top prize at local university beauty contest. Midoriyama Academy. Maria and Hitomi Osawa.
Wait. What? They're beauty pageant models?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was
Yes,
set up,
that's it.
This was set up very early on. They didn't reveal it, but this title has been in the beginning.
Okay. Yes, that's it. The Osawa twins. I actually won Miss Midoriyama myself a few years ago. This year I served as one of the judges.
Minorikawa adopted a self-satisfied pose.
Guess I really was born under the right sign to be a freelancer. Please just come to me. Sure.
Rumi muttered.
Okay, let's talk basics then. Tell me what you know about these girls. Well, I don't really know them personally.
Rumi continued to dab at the coffee on her face.
But now that you ask, I do remember hearing that they'd entered the contest separately. Oh, this does sound familiar, maybe. Wait, separately?
Now Minorikawa was a bit confused.
Yes, that's right. I assumed they'd entered as a pair, but apparently not. I wonder why. I mean, they're twins. Don't they look alike? Wear the same clothes, do everything together, and say the same things at the same time and stuff?
Rumi chuckled and shook her head.
No, not at all. Besides, the two aren't identical. They're not? What do you mean? What do you want to... yes, they are. They're fraternal twins.
Fraternal twins. Twins who were born at the same time from 2 eggs and were fertilized separately. Fraternal twins do not share the same genetic information. They can differ in such characteristics as sex and blood type, though there are cases of fraternal twins resembling one another almost as closely as identical twins. Maria and Hitomi Osawa happen to look very closely alike, but they do not share the same blood type.
Although at a glance, they do look very similar. Still, how should I put this? They both give off a very different impression. Oh, now that sounds interesting. Mind explaining what you mean?
Minorikawa opened his memo pad.
I talked to them briefly after the award ceremony. The older sister struck me as really energetic, but the younger one was more quiet and reserved.
Minorikawa's investigative senses were tingling.
I wouldn't figure a shy girl would want to enter a campus beauty contest. I suppose not, no. Yeah. I don't suppose you got anything juicier.
Minorikawa asked. Rumi frowned.
Would you like to just go ask them yourself?
She said.
They don't live very far from here. Whoa, hold the phone.
Minorikawa could hardly believe what had just fallen into his lap. The advance info in the project proposal had mentioned the girls were students at Midoriyama, but hadn't given an actual address. If he could talk to them directly, now that would be pay dirt.
You know where they live?
Well, not exactly. I just heard that they lived in Shoto.
Aha, Shoto.
That wasn't far away. A car or a motorcycle could get there in about 10 minutes. It'd be quicker than going to Midoriyama Academy, and he'd be able to meet with the girls themselves. Minorikawa flashed a quick look toward the restroom. It looked like Rumi's father had just gotten back.
Sorry,
She said.
I should be going.
No problem, and thank you.
Rumi gave him a quick nod, then hurried back to her seat. Minorikawa grabbed the directory from the public phone and flipped through the pages. To his surprise, there were only 5 listings for the name Osawa with addresses in Shoto. There was neither a Maria nor a Hitomi, but he hadn't expected there to be. He'd need to find their parents. Wasting no time, he called up the first Osawa on the list.
Bingo.
Minorikawa couldn't help but pump his fist in excitement. He'd gotten the right place on the first try.
Way to go, me.
He committed the house number listed in the phone book to memory. I know this was last week, but there was a phone call that arrived at the Osawas, and that was Minorikawa.
Oh, okay.
He was just asking if the daughters were there.
Oh, yeah. They're
And
like,
just
is
hung
this... Yeah. Remember that now.
Just then, the waitress reappeared with a disgruntled expression and Minorikawa's order of spaghetti Napolitan. Here you are, sir. There it is.
Well, it looks pretty good. Oh,
Yeah, it's like, not exactly hot dogs, but it's like those little tiny sausage wieners and bell pepper and ketchup.
yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll have to try sometime.
The pasta was piled high with an impressive mound of grated cheese. It looked almost like a miniature mountain of snow. "You did say lots of cheese, sir," the waitress told him. She set down a canister of cheese and a bottle of Tabasco. If you don't know what Tabasco is, it's made by the US-based McGill-Henny Company. It's got hot peppers, grain vinegar, and rock salt. We know what Tabasco is.
Yeah.
It has been claimed that Tabasco was first imported to Japan by a certain well-known former pro wrestler, but this story is untrue. Maybe that's a reference that we'll never be able to understand.
Oh, this looks good.
Minodikawa exclaimed. He twirled some spaghetti up with his fork and shoved it into his mouth. The slightly sour sweetness of the ketchup blended perfectly with the mellow flavor of the cheese.
Oh, that is tasty.
There is nothing like satisfying grub to lift the spirits. He turned back to his laptop, still wolfing down the spaghetti.
All right, we're back in action. Let's do this.
Yet again, he unthinkingly blurted his words aloud as he slipped back into writing mode.
I've got this. I've got this.
With ketchup smeared around his mouth, he set his fingers tapping away at the keys. The waitress let out another groan of dismay.
Huh? You say something?
Minodikawa glanced in her direction, but the waitress faked a smile. No, sir. I don't think so.
Yeah, well then go away. You're distracting me.
The moment he looked away, she clenched her fist in indignation. Nothing, sir. Good luck with your work, sir.
I don't need luck. I've got this.
Is just gonna keep going back and forth like this. Eyes jumping back and forth between pasta and computer, Minodikawa got to work on his copy once more. Before long, he was oblivious to every sound in the cafe around him. When he finally snapped out of writing mode, he glanced at his watch. It was 2:20. Almost time for him to head to his next interview.
Better get a move on.
Kimizuka's taxi came by just as Minodikawa was hurrying out of the cafe.
Oh, what a pleasant surprise.
Minodikawa called out.
A nice timing, my man.
Kimizuka's startled look quickly vanished behind an expression of professional resignation. I think I'm this guy? Yeah. I don't have it written down, but I remember voicing this guy. Taxi driver. Let me write that in. Mr. Taxi Man. Do you need a ride, sir?
You know it.
Minodikawa replied.
First, head to Shoto. After that, I'll need to get to Sakuragaoka.
As he cast his gaze out at the sights of the city, Minodikawa mulled over his plan for the next part of the day. First, he'd interview the Miss Midoriyama girls. Then he'd meet with the head of the theater troupe. In order to leave himself enough time to write his copy, that meant...
I'd like to get this all wrapped up in 20 minutes.
he said.
Can you make that happen?
Kimizuka flashed a grin. That will incur a special fare, sir.
Oh, special.
Minodikawa said as he got settled in his seat.
I love that word.
Ooh, I wonder what the special fare is. Kimizuka stepped on the gas. Shibuya was a town of contrasts. It was a town of young people, unpretentious, energetic. The Scramble intersection and center guy perfectly conveyed that vibrancy. However, if one turned right at the 109 building and headed down Bunkamura Dori, the town's whole atmosphere changed. Shoto was one of Shibuya's, indeed, one of Tokyo's, most upscale residential districts. Wherever one looked, there were stately manor houses giving off an imposing air, sending the message that this was no place for the common folk.
Right here is fine.
Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over.
Wait here for me. I'll be right back.
Hopping out of the taxi, he checked the nameplates of the nearby homes.
Ah, here we go.
He spotted a nameplate that read Osawa.
Kenji Osawa, huh?
The name nagged at him somehow. It had been in the back of his mind ever since he'd seen it in the phone book back at the cafe. Had he heard it someplace before? He walked up to the gate and pressed the button for the intercom. Even the little chime it made when pressed sounded elegant. Minorikawa waited, but there was no response. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 now. His interview with Shinosuke Oarai of the Wandering Angels was supposed to have started already. Ooh, episode 3! I barely remember the first 2 episodes. With the help of Shinichi Bando, Mondo was able to get out of his apartment. Then, when all the players had finally assembled, the troupe proceeded with one last rehearsal before showtime. But again, tragedy struck. Mondo came down with food poisoning after eating his lunch. He was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, and the Angels were once again lacking an actor for the key role of Shindo. Oarai was on the verge of panic. Finally, however, he came up with a solution. Novice actor Takuya Amo would take on the parts. Continued in episode 4. What do you think of this story that's just like peppered into these tips?
I don't remember it at all. I like it though.
Yeah, I don't remember it. There's something about someone catching a cold, and then there's another one who slept in.
I remember
inside his
seeing the guy in
apartment.
the by the broom closet who caught a cold.
Yeah.
I don't remember there being a tip about him though.
It was something like that. Maybe we'll see. How many? Oops, wrong button. How many? It's supposed to be 6 episodes, right? Oh well. Still, he wanted to meet with the twins first if it was possible. He had to make a choice.
Wait a bit longer for these twins.
He decided to wait a little bit longer.
That's 5 more minutes.
The front door opened. A grim-looking man emerged, leading another man in handcuffs. Minorikawa was standing in their way.
Pardon us.
The serious-looking fellow said. He gave Minorikawa a curt bow as he passed by. Minorikawa smelled the distinct odor of a scoop.
Hey, does that guy live here?
He asked. The man ignored him and kept moving, but Minorikawa followed. He couldn't let this opportunity pass him by.
Hey, wait up. Is that Mr. Osawa?
With a grimace, the man pushed Minorikawa aside and hurried his handcuffed prisoner along. For a moment, Minorikawa wondered if he should keep after them, but he decided against it. Whatever was going on here, he doubted he'd be able to get an interview with the twin girls right now. This had all been an unfortunate waste of time. He had no real choice but to head along to his next interview. Welp. A few minutes later, the rear tires skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakuragaoka had taken almost no time at all. "Here we are, sir," Kimizuka announced.
Wow, that was fast.
Still, Minorikawa was at least 5 minutes behind schedule. He hoped he'd still be able to get the interview with Oarai. Keep out. Alright. I wonder if we have any jumps to him. I don't think we have any jumps to him. Oh. No. Alright. So, who shall we go to next? We've got Kano and Achi.
Let's do Achi.
Alright. It's Achi time. Hold on a second. Here's a refresher of what happened. They were being chased by an assassin, and then a foreign syndicate also started chasing after them. They hid out.
Oh yeah, this is that girl.
They hid out in a theater storeroom. And then they escaped. They fled the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi encounter a girl named Kanan. Who...
She's like Moroccan or something.
Yeah. We didn't, she didn't say anything, so we have no voice actor chosen for her. So you can decide.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I think she's got like a deep husky voice.
Alright. Let's hear it.
You must be Hitomi.
The girl called Kanan spoke fairly fluent Japanese. Hitomi nodded in response. Oh yeah, I'm Hitomi.
Yes, that's me. And you're Kanan, right?
How did you know my name? Did Maria tell you?
Yes. She told me about this amazing girl from overseas she made friends with.
A thin smile crossed Kanan's lips at the word amazing. Then her look grew sad.
Poor Maria. It's my fault that she was abducted.
What?
Achi and Hitomi gasped in unison.
That's why I have to rescue her.
Kanan added.
Hold on a second,
Hitomi said.
What do you mean it's your fault?
Kanan replied by jerking her chin in the direction of the main road.
It kind of looks like Achi. She's gorgeous, though. I mean, so is Achi. Better head that way.
She said softly.
Someone's coming.
But Hitomi didn't back down.
Please tell me, why was my sister kidnapped?
Several sets of footsteps echoed down the alley. They could see figures approaching now. By the looks of them, accomplices of the man Kanan had taken down earlier.
You two get out of here.
She warned.
I'll handle this.
She stepped out in front of Achi and Hitomi, moving with such confidence that they didn't doubt she could handle a threat.
Come to the Gigo building at 3 o'clock.
She added quietly, never taking her eyes off the advancing syndicate members. Huh? Hitomi squeaked.
Huh?
I'll explain everything then.
The criminals broke into a run.
Come on, Hitomi, let's go.
Achi hissed. He took her by the hand and bolted from the alleyway. The two didn't slow their pace until they'd put plenty of distance between themselves and the alleyway.
Kanan said this was her fault. What could she have meant by that?
The hard run hadn't made Hitomi forget the other girl's startling suggestion.
Well, she said she'll meet up with us again later.
Achi said.
We can ask her more about it then. In the meantime...
An ache in his belly had made Achi realize he'd been running all day and he hadn't eaten since the morning.
People on a diet need to be careful about skipping meals. Going too long without proper nourishment can cause the body to store up its energy reserves, leading to weight gain instead of weight loss. Proper eating habits and proper exercise are key. Thank you, Mr. Tip.
Yeah, that's why anorexic people are always so fat. Because when you don't eat, you actually get fat. Most people don't know that.
Don't they just.
Like when you see those ads for like the starving children, in foreign countries or whatever, and they're always like really fat.
But don't they just, like, not eat?
Yes, that makes you fat. Did you know that?
No, I guess the tip is clearing that up for me.
Or like Gandhi, you know how like Gandhi would get real fat when he went on those hunger strikes?
That's true. You're right.
Maybe it's not the best timing, but do you want to get some food?
I don't want to get fat. You know what I'm saying? I'll be okay. Hitomi's face was racked with emotion.
It's only natural.
Achi thought. Not only was she afraid for her sister's life, but there were all these people out to kill her too. And with this Kanan girl suddenly showing up, the situation was more confusing than ever. Still, they might as well address the few problems they could control. There was a fast food joint nearby,
Ooh, I love fast food. Let's go in there.
Achi said.
You might not be hungry, but you should still make sure to stay hydrated.
Hitomi shook her head, but her wan face practically radiated exhaustion.
Come on, we should rest up a little.
But
There's no rush. If we're gonna meet up with Kanan later, it's probably best if we don't just wander aimlessly until then. Never know who we might run into.
I guess you're right. The two went into the fast food restaurant together. Welcome, said the girl at the register with a bright smile. May I take your order?
I'll have the spaghetti with meat sauce. How about you, Hitomi?
Spaghetti with a sauce made from tomatoes and ground meat, also known as spaghetti bolognese, if you want to sound more Italian. Like Napolitan spaghetti flavored with ketchup, it is a perennial favorite of Japanese children. Frozen packages at the supermarket for around 200 yen a pop make for a simple and decently tasty microwavable meal that is also easy on the wallet. Yeah, I have one of those in the freezer right now.
Just have ketchup?
No, this is what you usually think of when you think of spaghetti.
Oh, I was confused when they said the way they said flavored with ketchup. I guess they were just referring to the other
Yeah,
one.
the other one is flavored with ketchup. The one that Minotakawa ate. That's Napolitan.
Right.
I'll just have an iced tea.
Hey now, you should probably eat at least a little something.
Okay, then I'll have a strawberry parfait. A strawberry parfait is a dessert of strawberries topped with ice cream and whipped cream. Hitomi has been so worried about her sister that she hasn't eaten anything since last night. But being with Achi has calmed her nerves a little and her appetite has returned. Perhaps her reflexive order of a strawberry parfait is a sign that she's not only hungry, but also still a little girl with a sweet tooth at heart. When you grow up, do people lose their sweet tooth? Probably.
I did. I used to always eat like candy bars and ice cream and stuff when I was a kid. Now I just want to eat like steaks and sushi and stuff.
Yeah, I see it. I still like sweetness, but I definitely I don't like it when it's like too sweet.
Like when I was a kid, I could just eat candy corn. Like I could just eat like a pound of candy corn.
Yeah,
It didn't even need to be food, you know. You just eat like sugar when you're a kid.
just dump
Now
it
I'm
down
like,
your throat.
yeah.
She sounded a little embarrassed to be ordering a dessert,
So yeah,
said Achi.
one spaghetti and meat sauce and a strawberry parfait, please.
Coming right up. The cashier promptly assembled their meal and set it out on a tray. We've got a special contest going on right now, she said. Please check it out if you're interested. The girl handed Achi a flyer. It read, Iron Stomach Eating Contest. Eat 1,000 scoops of ice cream and win 10 million yen.
What? That would kill you. You can't do that.
Iron Stomach, a competitive eating event held by this establishment. Backed by Sun TV, the competition has been shared with the entire country over the internet. Many contestants have entered for a shot at the 10 million yen prize, but so far, no one has been able to complete the eating challenge. Due to the large number of competitors who suffer from gastrointestinal distress as a result of their efforts, roughly 30 portable toilets have been set up outside the restaurant. Well,
What the heck?
Achi stared at the flyer as he took a seat at an open table.
1,000 scoops? That's impossible. Anyway, let's hurry up and eat.
As Achi stuffed his face with spaghetti, he thought back to their encounter with Kanan. The girl had helped them out, sure, but could they really trust her completely? It might be dangerous to meet up with her again. Still, Hitomi needed to know more about what had happened to Maria. And Kanan obviously knew something about that. It looked like they'd need to take that risk. My sister really is amazing.
Huh?
Hitomi's quiet words drew Achi from his ruminations. He paused with a forkful of spaghetti halfway to his mouth.
They really like these spaghetti shots.
The spaghetti is inside his mouth, though. My sister met Kanan.
Is it?
That's true. It's kind of hanging out. My sister met Kanan while she was on a trip to the Middle East with my father. Oh, that wasn't really my Hitomi voice, sorry. Hitomi nibbled at her parfait, looking lonesome.
Oh, but how does that in particular make your sister amazing?
It's typical of her, is all. She's so dynamic and gung-ho about things. Hitomi explained, her gaze turned inward. Do you think we'll have shots of Hitomi with, like, strawberry
Strawberry parfait.
parfait,
I hope so.
like, coming out of her mouth? Just, like, dripping out. It was just my father and sister who took that trip to the Middle East. I didn't go with them. I guess my mental image of that part of the world is mostly that it's really dangerous. To me, going there seemed like a huge risk, but Maria didn't see it that way.
Your sister sounds like a bit of a loose cannon.
But if you can't bring yourself to take risks, to do things, Hitomi continued, you can't meet new people and have new experiences. That's the part I always get hung up on, the risk. I'd never be able to make a friend like Kanan. Achi's mind wandered as he listened to Hitomi talk.
Hitomi's a little bit racist, is what I'm getting out of this. And she's like, my sister's amazing. And Achi's like, why? And she's like, because she's not that racist.
What do you want to show?
We just want to sit here and listen to her voice. Look how pretty she is.
All
We
right.
could listen to her talk all day.
He just wanted to sit there and listen to her voice. Her voice was sweeter than any parfait could be.
Nailed it.
Achi had never been a big fan of sweets, but he wanted as many helpings of Hitomi's voice as he could get.
Okay, calm down, Achi. You don't have to be so horny.
If you don't know what a sweet is, you know, it's candies, snacks, or desserts that are flavored to be sweet. You'll see people on cooking shows trying fancy sweets and raving about how they taste using every word but sweet. But you would think that kind of defeats the whole point. But whatever.
No matter how trivial. If she said it, he wanted to hear it. But Hitomi went quiet and hung her head. Broken from his reverie, Achi spoke up again.
What's the point of comparing yourself to your sister? You're your own person, Hitomi.
Professor Palmer said the same thing.
Hmm?
Achi didn't recognize the name. Oh, sorry. Leland Palmer. He's my university English professor. He's given me advice on a whole bunch of things. That sounded rather intimate. All sorts of worrying images shot through Achi's mind.
So, how old is this teacher of yours?
Huh? Around 40 or so, I guess?
Great.
Achi thought to himself.
Another middle-aged guy.
His mind filled with another sequence of slightly more upsetting images. Oh. We got these bystanders. Who do you want to?
All right, I'll do the first one.
Yeah, I guess I'll do the second one then.
Oh hey, ain't that Hitomi Osawa?
Oh, wow, you're right, it totally is. A college-aged couple sitting behind them were talking in hushed, excited tones.
Man, she really is a cutie.
The young man observed. He made no attempt to hide the fact he was looking Hitomi over. Look at that spaghetti sauce on his face.
Yeah, he's got the sauce.
Hey, hold on, Masa, said the girl. What gives? Masa. Masa is a first-year student at Midoriyama Academy who works part-time as a delivery driver for Dogan Hunt. Oh, that's, a long time ago when Achi went to that, was it a ramen shop? I don't know if it was ramen. That old lady to ask about the blue van.
Yeah, I remember that old lady.
Yeah, this is
That
the
was
guy.
her?
This is the guy that she was complaining for not showing up to work. He's taken the day off work today in order to attempt a dry run of the Iron Stomach eating competition, hoping to strike it rich while his girlfriend looks on. But now that he's eaten 2 parfaits, his stomach isn't feeling well, and he's just gotten back from his 5th trip to the toilet.
Don't give up now. You're almost 0.25% of the way there. Well, I mean, she is Miss Midoriyama, right? Miss Midoriyama?
Ooh, what are we gonna do?
Let's engage with these freaks.
We're gonna turn to them?
Yeah.
Achi turned to the couple.
Hey, did you just say she's Miss Midoriyama?
The couple stared at him in surprise, but Achi was undeterred.
What you were saying just now, was that true?
The man's face twisted up in embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean, the girl you're with, she won a beauty contest at Midoriyama Academy, you know? I just got a little excited, is all.
Achi turned back to Hitomi.
Is that so?
He asked, peering intently at her face. Well, yes. She smiled awkwardly. He turned to the young man again.
I knew she was pretty darn cute.
He said.
Guess I'm not the only one.
Nodding in understanding, he sat back down.
Miss Midoriyama will all be.
The 2 students, unnerved by Achi's questions, quickly got up and scurried away. It was Professor Palmer who convinced me to enter that beauty contest, actually, Hitomi said. Ooh. Pin-up shots of both Hitomi and Maria have already graced the pages of several magazines. Talent agencies have also made attempts to scout them, but both girls declined, claiming that they entered the contest just for the memories and that they have no interest in show business.
Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't that great. That's what they said. Huh.
Achi's smile twisted up a little. He said if I really wanted to change myself, I should try entering. Achi maintained his outward composure, but inside his heart was racing. This shot is great. Tanaka and Palmer, which one of them held Hitomi's true affections? Or was she possibly leading on two middle-aged men at the same time? The more he thought about it, the worse his delusions became.
I'd like to try entering you, if you know what I'm saying. What actually happened though? Oh,
this is Hitomi.
sorry. I was excited to get that one-liner in. We'll edit that out in post.
What actually happened, though, is my sister and I both won the prize. Hitomi's words snapped him out of his funk. She sounded disappointed.
Yeah, they gave out a double prize.
Turns out, my sister had entered the competition too. She smiled a self-deprecating smile. Guess twins really do think alike, huh?
Pardon me, folks. I've got a cat. A special guest tonight. It's a cat. Just give me a little little
The stink
cat.
eye?
No, allergic allergies. Got the cat allergies. Hey, double schmubble. You still want a prize, right? That's pretty impressive.
Nah, they just picked me as an afterthought to my sister, because twins sharing the prize made for a good headline. She looked away, sadly.
Did they say they picked you as an afterthought?
They didn't have to. It was obvious that my sister really won.
You can't know that. Maybe she was the afterthought. Come on, you need to believe in yourself.
Hitomi just hung her head. But I'm such a terrible person. Suddenly her eyes welled up with tears. I hate myself so much. I can never forgive myself for what I did.
Hey, whoa.
Achi watched her with trepidation. She looked like she might start bawling at any moment.
What's the matter?
The night my sister was kidnapped, I was supposed to go to a college party with her. But then all of a sudden she told me not to go. I kept asking her why not, but she just kept insisting I couldn't. Hitomi's face was bleak with regret. We both got mad, and I wound up blowing up at her. Okay.
Okay, I get it. Oh. Sorry.
Sorry, this is all me. Okay, I get it. I don't need to go to the party. Fine. I'd just be your little tag-along anyway. Just like in that beauty contest. You couldn't just let me enter that by myself, could you? You always have to be the center of attention. Maria scowled. Fine. The party starts at 7 o'clock. Try not to forget, okay? I was kicking myself as soon as I told her off. My sister isn't the sort of person to tell me what to do or not do. She must have had a reason for not wanting me to go.
Pardon me.
I was planning on apologizing to her after the party, but...
Excuse me. This is a damn cat. Sorry, folks. We're going to edit that out in post. Go ahead.
You good?
I'm good.
Alright, this is you now.
But then she was abducted, right?
Achi polished off the last of his spaghetti. He set down his fork, then wiped his mouth.
Tell me, I get why you're trying so hard to save your sister.
He said.
And maybe I'm not as tough as that Kanan girl, but I'll stick with you to the end if you let me.
He tried his best to convey an optimism he didn't really feel.
And once we found her and she's safe and sound, you can tell her you're sorry about what you said.
At long last, Hitomi cracked a smile. Oh, here we are.
Sonic time, baby.
A short while later, the two arrived outside the Gigo building. They were a little early for their 3 o'clock meetup with Kanan. They had decided that searching at random for the blue minivan was too risky. They could easily draw the attention of the man with the cane or the foreign kidnappers. Getting information from Kanan seemed like the best next move.
Oh, hey,
Achi said as they waited.
you've got a little rip on your top.
Hitomi glanced at her shoulder and saw the tear in the fabric. Oh, you're right. When did that happen, I wonder?
Must have snagged it on something while we were running, I guess. Or maybe that was you. That's probably you.
Oh, really?
It doesn't matter. But we've got some time before Kanan gets here. Do you want to buy some new clothes? Hey, I want to watch you try on clothes.
Huh? Are you sure that's a good idea?
We'll stick out if you just stand around here waiting. I may as well head inside until it's time.
Since many celebrities did their shopping at Gigo, there were back entrances for times when the place was crowded. Everyone who frequented the old shopping district knew about them, including Achi and Hitomi. In a pinch, one of those back entrances could be an escape route. With this in
Didn't we
mind,
talk about this last time?
yeah, I know. With this in mind, Min, the two headed inside. I don't see Sonic. I see Mario.
It's
Shibuya.
pronounced Maria.
No, it's me, Mario. And like the right under featuring. Shibuya Gigo was an entertainment complex featuring a
is that
video,
Mario?
arcade, and fashion shops. He's on a poster.
I see him now. Yeah. Alright. We got him.
At the time of this story, Gigo includes not only a fashion mall, but various amusements on its different levels. The second floor features all ages fun with rides, games, and sticker machines. I don't know what a sticker machine does. While the third floor sports the latest arcade games for the quote-unquote core gamer. There's also a food court that offers things such as crepes and loaded takoyaki octopus dough balls. Ooh, delicious. The ground floor and 2 basement levels of the building were designed as an amusement area outfitted with skee ball, claw cranes, fighting games, and the like. The second floor held a mix of photo booths and ladies' wear shops. On the third floor were specialty fashion boutiques, and on the fourth were restaurants. Achi and Hitomi took the escalator to the second floor. Hitomi started heading for the shops, but Achi stopped her.
Hey, wait up.
What's the matter?
That dude hanging around a women's clothing store is gonna stand out. I'll wait for you here.
There seemed to be nobody but female customers around. If the man with the cane or the kidnappers appeared, Achi figured, he would spot them right away. It should be safe for Hitomi to shop on her own for a short while. All right, Hitomi said. I'll try to make this quick. She began to head out onto the sales floor. I'm still looking for Sonic. I see Amy. Oh.
Woo.
A seedy-looking man poked out from beneath the door of a photo booth right at Hitomi's feet.
That was a close one, wasn't it, Tama?
He said to her.
I thought I was dead meat for sure.
His tone was oddly cheerful, considering what he was saying.
Who's this guy?
Achi asked.
Why are you always hanging out with these middle-aged men? You know him?
No, I don't. The sketchy fellow gave her an ingratiating look.
Come on, Tama. Don't be like that.
Hitomi took an anxious step back.
Hey man, knock it off.
Achi dragged the guy up to his feet.
Okay. No need to get all testy. Who is this guy, Tama? He your boyfriend?
Boyfriend.
Ooh. What are we gonna say? Bashful grin.
Yeah, let's go with the bashful grin. Oh, hi.
No, he's not my boyfriend. Hitomi denied it before the words were out of Achi's mouth. He felt a little pang of heartbreak.
What? So you're not her boyfriend?
The guy flashed a broad grin.
Hey, listen, you creep. Who the hell are you?
Oh, me?
The man's face suddenly blanched.
Oh, crap. Tama, hold on to this for a bit, will you?
The weirdo shoved the worn-out magazine into Hitomi's hands, then bolted off in a panic.
What's that all about?
Yeah, I wonder why he ran off like that. Achi and Hitomi stared at one another.
Well, anyway,
Achi said,
there are a lot of nut jobs out there, so just be careful, yeah?
"Okay, if anything happens, I'll give you a shout." Hitomi flashed him an impish smile, then scampered off onto the sales floor. As he watched her go, Achi muttered to himself.
Damn it. Why does she have to be so cute?
Are those ladies taking pictures of Achi just standing there?
I think they're taking selfies.
But they're like pointing at
Right?
him, aren't they?
No, I think they're pointing the phone at themselves. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, they are pointing at him. Jeez, I don't know. Weird.
Kids these days. 5 minutes or more passed as Achi waited for Hitomi. He stood by the escalator, almost as if he were keeping guard. Female shoppers began to give him icy stares for being somewhere he probably shouldn't.
It sucks. Come on, Hitomi. Hurry up and get back here.
The longer he waited, the more uncomfortable he felt. How long was she going to take? Then he happened to turn around to see Hitomi riding the escalator up. It looked like she had indeed bought some new clothes.
Hey, Hitomi.
She didn't seem to hear him.
Well, let's go after her.
He decided to go after her. Had she forgotten where he was waiting for her? She stayed on the escalator, heading up toward the top floor. Achi followed her, but by the time he reached the top, she was out of sight. This was the restaurant floor, so it was more open than the other levels. Restaurant floor, a floor designed solely for eateries. Typically, this is the topmost floor of a mall building like Gigo. Those who head up here during morning hours will likely find the place deserted. Gigo's restaurant floor features a variety of different cuisines, including Chinese, Italian, creative Japanese food, sushi, tempura, and other delicacies from around the world. He hurriedly began to look around. As he wandered, he bumped into a man talking on his cell phone.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Achi held up a hand in apology, but the man was too engrossed in his conversation to notice.
This is Tama, right?
Tanaka.
Not Tama. That's what I meant. Tanuki.
Butlery voice is what I have written down.
Yeah. No, you're not getting it. The lock was undone too.
The man startled Achi by suddenly shouting into his phone.
You need to consider the risk of it getting out.
Whatever this guy was talking about, he sure was angry with whoever was on the other end.
Nailed it. Look, I'll figure out what to do about the minivan. You just handle things on your end. Minivan?
Achi's interest was piqued, but he needed to find Hitomi before he let anything distract him. As he scoured the 4th floor, he came across a Chinese buffet and noticed the large windows in its outer walls. You could see a lot of Shibuya through those windows. Maybe Hitomi had decided to look for the minivan from up here? One of the restaurant employees came rushing up as Achi headed inside.
You want to do this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do all like the waitresses and stuff. Sir, I'm sorry, she said.
Oh, it's a she.
Sir, you'll have to forgive the inconvenience. We're not open to the public. Not right now. Not at the moment, I mean. The employee's voice was oddly subdued for some reason. Masai Take, a part-time staffer at Imabiki Chinese restaurant. Her boss chewed her out pretty bad for showing up at work with her nails manicured black. She was ordered to go to the restroom and scrub them clean, but no amount of nail polish remover was able to do the trick. So she's been dealing with her boss's wrath all day long.
Wow. Okay. Well, why not?
Achi asked. Well, you see, one of our other customers ate all of our food.
They ate all of it?
Wow. Looking around, Achi saw a chubby young woman camped out at a table by one of the windows. Set out before her was a veritable mountain of plates. What I'm trying to say, sir, is that we're, closed for the rest of the day.
Oh, but I'm with her, actually.
Achi lied. Without waiting for a reply, he barged into the restaurant. He took a quick look around, but there was no sign of Hitomi. Before leaving, though, he figured he'd at least take a look out at the windows. The huge glass panes looked out onto Dogenzaka. He had a decent view of the roads, but he didn't spot a blue minivan. Achi dropped his gaze to the sidewalk outside the building.
Oh.
He let out a tiny gasp. Even from 4 stories up, there was no mistaking what he saw. It's a boy band. A group of black-clad foreign men had gathered outside the building. Had they figured out that he and Hitomi were inside? He needed to find her, and fast. He raced out of the restaurant, alert for trouble. And we got another keep out.
Probably a good place to stop.
Yeah, that's probably good to stop. For next time, let's see. I think Tama is open. Yeah, because we changed. Not Tama, Maria. Maria
Maria's fate has changed. Osawa's is the same. Norikawa's at the keep out in Kano we haven't touched yet. Alright. So, what do you think?
I have a prediction, actually.
Oh yeah?
Chidi is going to win the 10,000 plates of ice cream challenge at the Sweden restaurant.
Ah. Should I write your predictions down? And then
No,
see
we'll
it?
remember that one. That's okay. I don't usually have one, so we'll remember this one for sure.
Nice. There's a lot of eating in this episode.
Yeah,
A lot of spaghetti eating.
a lot of spaghetti.
Specifically
Mhm.
spaghetti eating. We didn't get to watch Chiri eat anything, but we have the implication that she did.
Yeah, she didn't like scallions though, right? She had all those scallions on that plate that she kind of pushed to the side. It's probably Mongolian beef, be my guess.
I saw a lot of peas. I thought those were
Oh, is that what that? Maybe those are peas.
I think they were peas.
I don't like peas. Do you like peas?
Yeah, I think peas are pretty good. But it's not like my favorite vegetable, but it's like just peas. It's like corn, kind of, except not as corny. Do you have a sign off? As the bread guy, should I talk about?
Oh
the
yeah,
bread
yeah.
again?
Sure. If you have something to say.
We did we made the mayo bread last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was a little fluffier.
And
So you use the mayonnaise in place of butter. So it's just basically like it didn't taste any different, but the texture was a lot fluffier.
so it didn't have a tang about it.
No, it didn't. But then again, I don't know if it's like Japanese mayo is the difference between Japanese mayo and American mayo.
Oh, is it like that spicy orange mayo that you get with sushi?
No,
Would that make a good bread?
that does sound pretty
It
good.
might.
Next week we're gonna try creamed corn.
Bread?
Yeah, you're gonna mix it into the
Ooh.
dough, creamed corn. So I imagine it's gonna be like a little corny,
I would think so. Yeah.
a softer cornbread maybe. Did you have a sign off thing?
No, I don't have a sign. I don't.
No.
I didn't
food-
make any bread this week.
No food rant. No cat rant. I guess you did
No.
kind of do a cat rant.
That's okay. I just explained why I was like sneezing and stuff. But yeah. I did eat quite a bit of sushi today, but that's not really a rant. I went to the sushi place down the street. I had to move temporarily, just for the folks at home. A little bit of lore. Had to move, and this sushi place. So I went and I ordered this sushi special or whatever. But then I saw that they had some deal that was like, you get 3 rolls for $12. So I was like, I can't afford not to get it. So I just got that too, and then I just ate all the sushi. It was really good.
Nice. I still need to go to like an actual sushi place. Like not a I've been to an actual sushi place, but like I want to try an upscale one. Slightly more upscale than dollar sushi here in Japan. A little lore for the folks at home.
Yeah, does it matter? I wonder if it matters though. Like, cause sushi, it's always good. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
that's what I'm
it
wondering.
varies in
That's why.
quality, but like the fish, it's always good. It's not like a steak where if you go to Ponderosa or something or like Friendlies and get a steak, it's gonna be like some awful cut. You know, like
Yeah,
you know,
it's always gonna
from
be the
like
same
the
cut of salmon.
yeah, and nice salmon too. Like, cause you have to eat it raw.
Yeah, that's
I
why I'm
don't know.
curious. I wonder if it's like maybe the rice. They have like nicer rice. That's the only thing I can think of that gets improved. Nicer rice or nicer wasabi or something.
Oh yeah, remember how like maybe 5 years ago, 5 7 years ago, like uh, one of those things that pedantic people would always talk about was like, well, you know, the wasabi you're eating is not real wasabi. It's like actually just horseradish or whatever. Like, real wasabi comes from the wasabi region of Japan. You know, and it costs like $1,000. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So maybe you get real wasabi. That's what I'm trying to say.
I heard there's one where like you don't need to. They don't give you soy sauce to dip it in because they put the seasoning inside and they
Ooh,
season it perfectly or something.
that's strange.
I guess it's like the idea of um asking for salt and pepper at a restaurant, like how that's like at a very
Rude.
fancy restaurant is rude, or asking for
Yeah.
like ketchup for your steak.
I mean, that just means that you have a oh dear, I'm getting a phone call. All right, that might be a good time to end it.
All
I
right,
think I need to take this call.
see you guys next time.
See you, folks.